Welcome back to Wargaming World, to the east coast of England, 1070, and to another game of 1 Hour Wargames. Okay, so the idea here is that we've got an Anglo-Saxon area, village, etc., and we've got a mixed force. So just to show you the figures before I reposition them. So we've got a couple of cavalry units, Norman cavalry, then got standard infantry. So they'll have a shield wall, and then at the back there you can see there's also some archers, so skirmishers, and that will make up the 6 units. Now on the other side we've got half a dozen units, warband, all of them. So I've got 4 figures for each of the warband, and the idea is that they're establishing a bridgehead after getting off this longboat, which means that they're trying to get some kind of position and raid and see how they can get lots of loot. So let's have a look and see which scenario we're going to use. So I'm going to play scenario 5, the bridgehead. And the idea, fairly simply, is that we're going to get 1 unit to be getting off the boat here to establish a bridgehead for the blue forces, and then what we do is that we roll to see how many units will appear to fight against them. So we've got 3 different types, as I mentioned at the start, and some will either be appearing from this buildings, the great building at the back there, some perhaps over on the flank, on the right hand side, or alternatively towards here on the left hand side. We'll need to roll and see. The idea being to see ultimately, in terms of the game, whether the English force or Anglo-Norman force can ensure that the Vikings can't establish a suitable bridgehead and cause chaos. So this is our battlefield. We've got our Anglo-Saxon village, and then we've got the bridgehead, which is the Vikings as they disembark from the longboat. So we start with 1 unit at the start of the game, and this is this unit here within 6 inches of the bridgehead. What we also do with the solo games is to use the cards. So I'm going to start the game. We've already deployed the unit. The first card that we take is in actual fact the Anglo-Saxons, so let's see how they are affected. And that's an 8, so let's see what that looks like. Now it's an ammunition shortage, so that only really matters whether it's the bowmen who come on to the table. In this scenario it's 2 units, 2 red units that arrive, but we need to roll whereabouts they appear, and I'll roll also to see which units it will be. 1, 2, they're going to come over from this side, 3, 4 from the centre, 5, 6 from over here. 5, 6. And so of the figures we've got 3 infantry units, and we've got 2 cavalry and 1 bowman. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say 1, 2 is bowman and infantry, 6. So 3, so it's 1 infantry and 1 cavalry. So they're going to come onto the table here, and I'd suggest that the Vikings didn't necessarily think that the Normans would already be deployed here in on the east coast of England. This is where the units move to. It's an ace, so nothing happens. So the Vikings can't do a great deal other than brace themselves for the advancing Normans, and that's the end of the first turn. Turn 2. It's another ace, so therefore nothing for the Anglo-Norman force. Now I can't reach the Vikings from here with the cavalry, and therefore I'm going to bring the infantry up also. I want to bring the cavalry up there just for the Vikings to all launch out from the boats, surround them and then slaughter the cavalry. So a bit of support will be necessary. So over to the Vikings. Start with a card. 2, so again nothing happening. Okay, and in this phase I get a second unit, a second Viking unit, so begins to get a better position in terms of this bridgehead. Right, turn 3, and that's a 6. Now, 6 means 1 to 3 of the Anglo-Norman force cannot move. Now I'm going to bring on another 2 units at the start of this, so we'll have 4. Let's roll to see how many can't move. Okay, so just the 1 unit. 1, 2, 3, it'll be the cavalry. No, it's the infantry. It's infantry and bowmen. No, it's the cavalry and infantry again, but where do they come from? 5, same location. Right, okay, so this is where the second set of units come in, logically I suppose, up on the left hand side, and going to advance towards the Vikings here. So manoeuvred the cavalry so I can get a bit of width in the attack as we advance over the coming 2 or 3 turns, but that's the end of Anglo-Normans over to the Vikings. Starting with a card. King would rally, but we haven't started taking casualties. So a third Viking unit is onto the table. I've also moved the other 2 units, one moving further forward, the one furthest away moving and protecting its flank. So that's the end of the third turn, getting close to making contact. Turn 4. Nothing happening there. Right, enough manoeuvring. So I've moved the cavalry into combat, so we'll work that out in a second. Moved up the infantry as well, and got the Normans in a position to charge if they wish. So let's see how we go on with melee. I'm going to do a slight variation. In the Dark Ages, you'd see that the cavalry is unmodified. If we flick to medieval, then knights, in terms of cavalry, have a +2, add 2 in the results, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to count the Normans as knights. The impact is 1d6 + 2. That's just 3. Viking card. That's going to be a king. So with a king we need to roll and see how many casualties are reduced. So it can be up to 3 points saved, and that's back down to 0. So we've got another raiding unit that have arrived, and here I've manoeuvred a second unit into the flank of the cavalry. Haven't advanced this unit here. I'm just holding and waiting to get support from the new unit which has arrived. It will be 1d6 + 2 on the when they face each other, and then it's going to be double for the unit fighting in the flank. First roll. Impact is 4. We've got +2 will be 5, doubled is 10, so 14 is the impact on this unit. New turn, and 4, nothing's happening. Final red units are arriving, but where? 2, this time it's over on this side. Looks like the villagers have appeared over there, and over here I've moved units into combat. So the cavalry are fighting the warband face to face, but we've also got standard infantry attacking in the flank, and I've moved up the other unit there. I'll roll for the knights fighting over here, but I think this is going to be the last thing they do. Okay, knights +2. Oh, that's effective though. That's 8. Okay, over here I've tried to do a similar thing the other way around that we got there. So it's going to be the knights first of all, which is 1d6 + 2, and then we've got doubling up in the flank there with 1 standard d6 with the spearmen. d6 + 2, that's 6 doubled. We got, it's just 1, so 2, so 8 in total. Start now with a Viking card. It's a 4, so nothing's happening. We've got a 5th unit off the longboat. I've also moved this unit into the flank of the spearmen here, so I'm going to have more melee. I don't even need to start here. I'm just going to remove the cavalry because they're going to be up to 15. Warband here, so it's 1 dice + 2. Attacking in the flank is double, so it's 1d6 plus 2 doubled. And with that, it's 8, takes us to 16. And this unit is removed straight away. Suddenly, the Anglo-Norman force is down to 4 units, and this game almost looks over before it's begun. See in the new turn whether there is anything fortunate here. So, what do you get with a jack? Jack is initiative, so a unit can do something twice, so that's quite probably the cavalry, to see if it has 2 goes, see if it can knock out that the Viking force there. Now the Saxons have deployed with a shield wall, and work that out in a second. And I'll also do the melee over here. In terms of movement, I've also moved the archers further forward. They can't fire because they've moved, and I've also got the final unit advancing too. Over here then, we've got to double up. That's number, or to do it twice, I should say, not double up. That's so we have another. So that's 7. In actual fact, what's happened is that we've got 7 with the casualties, and they've already taken 8, so that's 15. So that unit is removed. So with the Normans being able to do something twice, I'm going to say that they can move into the flank of the unit, which is fighting against the spearmen first. That's 6. This is doubled in the flank. So it goes up to 5, 16. So in fact, very quickly the Vikings have lost 2 units. So that's quite a turnaround in the game to date. So at 9 for the Viking. Gets worse. Single unit gets 1d6 hits. So a new unit has arrived, but it can be one of the 4, which we need to do, see whether we've lost some morale. So I'll roll for that. Which unit number 4 is going to be the one that has just arrived. 1d6 hits, and it's 6. Okay, so I've moved the number of units. We've got effectively now 3 units fighting just straight against each other. I did manoeuvre the Norman cavalry in order so it could have a face-to-face combat. They'd already defeated the Vikings, so I thought they could turn rather than being hit in the flank. Yeah, these 3 games, or 3 actions I should say, will be decisive. Let's start here. It's well, with all of them, it's going to be 1d6 plus 2. That's 6, which means the cavalry are now up to 12 against this shield wall. It'll be 1d6 plus 2 and then halved. So that's 3, and the same here. So it's going to be 4 because we'll round up. You turn, and that's a king, and that means a unit can reduce casualties. 1, 2 at the top, 3, 4 in the middle, 5, 6 the Normans. 4, so it would be the unit in the middle, and reduced by 2, so that unit goes down to 1. Move the bowman so it can get somewhere into the action, but it's still not near enough to fire at that unit at the back there. Start the fighting here because this Viking unit is on 8. Plus 5 takes it up to 30. Taken any casualties thus far, and indeed neither has that one. First unit takes 6 cavalry, which is plus 2 to this, so it's 4. Viking card is a 9 for the second time, so let's work out which unit it is. We'll say if I roll a 1, it's the unit that's still by the longboat, and then 2 at the top, 3 at the middle, 4 at the bottom. 3, so it's the unit in the middle. That will be a 3, so what does that take us to? So I think that's going to take it all the way now up to 9. And the minimum I'm going to do here for damage is 3, so the cavalry is removed. It's this shield wall. That's 4 to 5. Finally up at the top here. 6 plus 2 is 8. And that unit goes up to 12. I haven't moved that unit because that's the reserve, so just to see where it might possibly be needed. Just to say, you'll be able to see on the screen now the different units and the casualties they've got. So I'll highlight as well that as the Anglo-Norman force need to knock out the 2 Viking units at the start of this turn, I think, otherwise it's going to be a Viking victory. We need to start with is a card, and it's a 4, so the movement I've done is to move the skirmishers. I really haven't been able to make any use of those. I can't move and fire, so I'm going to go straight to combat. I'm going to start with a 1 up at the top there, and that really needs to be a success there, otherwise I think this game might be done. How many Viking casualties can be inflicted? At 2 though, so where the Viking unit is removed. Now over here we've got another action, and if I roll a 6 we'll have another Viking unit being defeated. Okay, what do we get? Only a 2 though, so that unit is up to 11. Card ace, so nothing happens. Unit into the flank here of the Saxon force, or the English force, and at the top I've moved this other unit advancing towards this one. So let's work out what happens as a consequence here. This unit is on 5. First of all, it's the face-to-face attack, so that's 6 plus 2 is an 8. We half it because it's 4 because of the shield wall, so that's 4 we add to take it up to 9. However, what we've then got is impact from the side. I don't count the shield wall there, and the minimum, because we're going to be a double, will be 6, which will take this unit up to 15, so this unit will be removed. So this is the state of the game. Although the bowmen haven't taken any casualties, the other Anglo-Norman force, as the remainder of it, has, I think it's 12, so I think there's no chance effectively of them being able to defend and keep the Vikings from sacking this area. So I will do another turn, but I think this is game done and a victory for the Vikings. Start with a card, and it's 5. It's confusion, so 1 to 3 of the units can't move. Units. Well, it's 2 units, so it's both units, they can't move. The only thing that we can do here is for the bowmen to fire. We fire as skirmishers, but we -2. And so it's no effect. This is a terrible Viking card. The game is done. Oh, it's confusion. Viking units are confused. All 3, so none of them can move. And they obviously can't fire, so that is the end of the turn. Well, I'll try and see if there's anything here. So 9, and with that it's demoralisation. So one of the units take 1d6 hits. 3, it's the bowman. It is. And that's 3. I'm going to call it a day here because there is no way that the Vikings can be defeated. Remember, the game itself is to remove units from being, well, from having this bridgehead, and they've certainly secured it. There's no way of doing it with these units. The Vikings move 9 inches, so therefore they'll be in contact over the next round or so, and there's no way that these units, remaining sort of Anglo-Norman force, can move them. So I'm going to call it a Viking victory. So I hope you've enjoyed the game. It's the first of this period that I've tried with the Vikings, and I liked it. I thought it's a good game, but we've got to add in, I think, a capability of fighting against them, because once you get into hand-to-hand combat, I think the Vikings obviously are very powerful. So I'll have a think about what other forces I'll bring to the table next time. But anyway, just to say thanks very much again for watching. Thanks for everybody who's part of this YouTube channel, and indeed of the 1 Hour Wargames Facebook group, and I'll see you next time.